Bapak Rektor sudah bergabung bersama kita.
Oke, terima
Silakan, Bu.
kasih Ibu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya, akan mulai.
Spot Ki, Rijal, spot Ki.
Where is me? Kenapa saya tidak muncul di layar? Kamera terbuka, kenapa Anda ada, Kak? Oh,
Oke.
oke.
Ya, we start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Guest Lecture on Mathematics and STEAM. It is proudly organized by Mathematics Education and also LBKUI Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar in collaboration with Akenten Appiah Minka University of Ghana. I'm Dr. Irnawati Idrus and I will be your moderator for this afternoon session. Okay, maybe first let us extend our greetings to our rector, Bapak Rektor, kemudian all faculty leaders, all respected lecturers from various institutions, kemudian all student and participant, maybe from across region, and all educators and researchers in mathematics and STEAM. Let's begin this insightful academic journey together in this afternoon. To officially open our event, we are pleased to welcome Bapak Rektor Dr. Insinyur Haji Abdul Rahim Nanda, STMT IPU, Rektor of Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar. Are you ready, Bapak Rektor, for opening remark? Okay, still mute. Bapak Rektor.
Sorry, I am on my way from Mamuju to Polmas.
Oke, Bapak. Silahkan, Bapak. The screen is yours. Silahkan, Pak.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Very good morning for our colleagues in Ghana, Africa, and good afternoon for Indonesia participants. May peace and blessing for all of us. I would like to address to counterpart from the Akenten Appiah Minka University of Ghana, University Top Management, the faculty members and the student, particularly Prof. Ebenezer Bonya, MED, MEC, PhD. Definitely, the faculty members of Mathematics Study Program as the host for this kick-off event, especially Professor Dr. Agustin Samsudin happens as the source person as well. Warm regards to all the participants from both countries, Ghana and Indonesia, participants from Aceh, Java, Sumatra, and Sulawesi Islands. It is with deep respect and heartfelt enthusiasm that I extend the warmest welcome to our esteemed international counterpart at this very special and meaningful event, learning, innovation, and knowledge and mathematics education, collaboration between Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar and Akenten Appiah Minka University of Skill Training and Entrepreneurial Development, Ghana. Your presence here today, the professors, is not only an honor, but also a strong reflection of your unwavering support for academic innovation, global collaboration, and excellence in education. We are proud to have a partner who continuously inspires us to broaden our academic horizons and to seek meaningful partnership beyond our borders. Today's event marks a significant step forward in our efforts to promote learning innovation, especially in the fields of knowledge development and mathematics education. It is through collaboration such as this that we are able to exchange pedagogical ideas, explore new teaching methodologies, and create research-based practices that will benefit both our institution and the wider global academic community. The collaboration with the Akenten Apia Menka University, a respected institution in Ghana, symbolizes a shared commitment to quality education, cross-cultural understanding, and academic growth. We believe that this partnership will not only enrich the learning experience of our students and faculty, but also contribute to solving educational challenges on broader scale. Our shared vision for internalization and academic advancement continues to motivate us. I myself would also to emphasize Unismu Makassar is an excellent university, predicate with 8 faculties and 54 study programs with medicine, education, economic, engineering, law, agriculture, politics and sciences, and Islamic education. Furthermore, postgraduate program and doctorate are available and welcome to work together in the future. We are confident to approach and being the partner of the Akenten Apia Menka University that already state as obtained KS World University rank in Africa. On behalf of the Unismu Makassar and the entry academic community, once again, we warmly welcome everyone. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to Irna. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bapak Rektor, for your remark. Okay, and maybe it is officially opening today's event. Okay, tanpa membuang waktu lagi, now we move to guest lecture session. And the first topic is ethnomathematics, bridging cultural knowledge and mathematics education. It will be delivered by our guest from Ghana. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Hello.
Ebonya. Okay.
I'm here.
It is yes. Okay, thank you, Prof. It is Prof. Ebenezer Bunya, MED, MSc,
Good morning,
PhD.
Prof.
Yeah.
Morning for Ghana ya.
Okay, saya lanjut. Before we begin, please be informed to all participants. If you have any question, you may type them in the Zoom chat box, and all questions will be addressed during the last Q&A session after the both speakers have delivered their talks. And before we get the lecture, let me first read the Prof. Ebonya CV. Prof. Ebenezer Bonya holds a PhD in Applied Mathematics in 2014 from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana. And currently he serves as a professor at Akenten Apiah Menka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development, Ghana, and holds a visiting academic position at prestigious institutions in Canada and in South Africa and also in Indonesia. His research expertise include mathematical modeling, dynamical system, optimal control theory, fractional calculus, differential equation, fluid mechanics, and mathematics education, with a specific focus on problem solving, mathematical modeling, technology integration, and ethnomathematics. Prof. Bonya has received multiple international grants, such as Erasmus Plus, National Science Foundation, and Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council. He recognized globally, he has consistently been ranked among the top 2% of scientists worldwide by Stanford University and Elsevier. Wow. He has also been repeatedly awarded the best researcher at AAMUSTED. Professor Bonya extensive publication record includes numerous articles in high impact international journal. I have 30 pages of his CV here, underscoring his significant contribution to the field of mathematics and education. Okay, Prof. Ebonya, are you ready to lecture?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Prof. Ebonya, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Okay. I just have a call.
Oke, untuk seluruh peserta, apabila selama penjelasan bisa menuliskan pertanyaannya di kolom chat dan akan dibahas setelah semua pembicara telah selesai untuk menyampaikan lecture. Silakan. Okay, Prof.
Hello.
Hello. Do you, Kak Rijal? Are you share by yourself, Prof?
Yeah, just a second. Where is it?
Okay. While waiting for Prof. Ebonya ya, Ibu Dr. Irna, we also would like to announce another thing that we can do tomorrow. What will be the event tomorrow, Dr. Irna? We have a meeting with Turkey University, right? Maybe you can give a highlight, Ibu
Oh,
Dr.
yes.
Yes, please.
So,
It's okay, Professor Ebonya. Take your time.
Oh.
While we are waiting for you, Ibu Dr. Irna will give another announcement.
okay.
Oke, jadi Kami juga besok ada, wait. We have agenda tomorrow with
Okay.
Gazi University Turkey. It is with engineering faculty. The theme is changing and water management through international collaboration. This is held by engineering faculty
I could hear you
and
see
also
them
the
on-
PBKUI.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
No, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, Indonesia. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, Ghana. So thank you very much, Director, for giving me this opportunity to present a talk on this important occasion. I must also say again that Akinti PM University of Skills Training Entrepreneur Development is also grateful for collaborating with us. I'm happy the MOU has been fully signed, and I'm sure going forward, the two universities can put things together to do something. In fact, the title of my talk, as mentioned by the moderator, Ethno-Mathematics Bridging the Cultural Knowledge and Mathematics Education. Then I borrowed your language. Maybe when I say it, it is not the right word to be said. Forgive me. Salamat Hagi. Then in English means good morning. And thank you for having me. I'm honored to share this talk across cultures. What is the purpose of this talk? Ladies and gentlemen, this talk is just to explore cultural dimension of mathematics, share Ghanaian and Indonesian insights in terms of ethno-mathematics, and also to promote inclusive mathematics education, which is very important. Here, I mean social justice. And you all know ethno-mathematics, the father of ethno-mathematics, I call it Da Brazil. For me, he puts the formalized materials together to focus a concept called ethno-mathematics. What did he say? He says that mathematics is a vehicle that drives other human endeavor, making it unambiguity welcome around the globe. For math is unambiguity. Math is precise. Math is what? Accurate. So ethno mathematics enable learners to interact meaningfully with culturally relevant mathematics content. Babel et al. 2025. He also emphasized the definition which was proposed by De Brazil, 1985. So for a decade, mathematics have been viewed and taught as a purely objective and culture-free discipline. And for us in Africa, almost every country except Ethiopia were taken out by the Europeans. They were colonized by these whites. Some were by French-speaking France, English, we have Portuguese here, Spanish speaking in Africa. And so the entire curriculum, including math, were distorted by this white. And for example, when I was in the basic school those days, I didn't study anything connecting my country. Everything I studied had to do with British. Meanwhile, I didn't know where British was located. So we have been brainwashed culture at all. Culture is a way of life. If culture is a way of life, then why can't I rethink mathematics I do in the context of the way I live my life? That is a food for thought. So we say here that encourages educators and learners intellect. So for example, if in Ghana we have multi-language, multi-ethnic, but it is important that every ethnic group should have opportunity to document the cultural orientation of their mathematical thinking, because the human being dreams in the local language in which the person was brought to this earth. So if you're talking about innovation, creativity, and you are using somebody's language to come out of innovation, it will not happen. And it is not for a joke. God or Allah created this world for a certain specific purpose. That is why we are all not in the same geographical, environment. So still looking at the rethinking of ethnomath, saying that ethnomathematics emphasizes how different culture groups develop and use mathematical ideas. For example, in Africa, most people have hypothesis that we have not developed because we are not using our own language. And I'm proud to say that in Indonesia, you have been able to take a bold step to use your own language in your curriculum. For me, that is the best. And I'm envisaging that by the next 5, 6 to 10 years, you will be one of the best fast growing economy around the globe. So additional activities such as weaving, bead work, pottery involve geometric and arithmetic concepts. If you come to Ghana, there are certain ethnic groups like Akans, where I come from. These are preoccupation activities of a certain group of people throughout their life. And then this may make a lot of mathematical concepts, but the point is, do they know these artisans? Do they know that they are exhibits, or they are showing geometric pattern, arithmetic concept? They are not mathematicians. So what do we do? Is it not proper as a country to properly document and reorient the children that come to school to connect what they do every day in their local community in the context of some of these concepts that we teach, so that the textbook that we will write should be written in such a way that learner can relate with what they see around in their environment. So indigenous knowledge system include sophisticated mathematical practice. Now we have what to call African fractal in architecture, designs sophisticated over 100, 200 years artifact, which mimic some of these things. Do we even understand that they mimic geometric thinking, geometric concept? That is something that is a problem. Then you're also looking at Ghanaian, our rich culture, tapestry, offer a fertile ground for exploring ethnomathematics. Ghana has enormous rich culture that I can't even think about. But are we able to connect the mathematics that we teach to this thing that I'm talking about? No, because we have aligned our curriculum with the Western world. Kente cloth pattern. I'm going to show you a kente design, which is a cloth that are done traditionally. We don't use machines. It's hand-on kind of cloth. And look at how these artisans who have never been to school are able to mimic symmetry, which is a geometric concept, and some other geometric concept, and sequencing these patterns. Look at it. So this is a typical kente cloth. So you can imagine teaching children symmetry, pattern formation, sequencing, and then linking what you teach with what they do in their community. I'm sure when we do this, learners are likely to understand the concept that we teach. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you some of the typical concepts that we can derive from some of these, activities, which are indigenous. Now, geometric patterns in Kente, learners can learn symmetry, tessellation, repeating pattern, because when you design clothes, patterns are repeated in a certain arrangement, a certain manner. These are the things that we're talking about. Also looking at measurement and estimation. And it's interesting to note that this crop of people, they can determine by just a look of the raw material, if you like, you call it thread or whatever it is, the quantum of the material required to populate a certain length, breadth of these, cloth. This magica, they have never been to school. They can tell you, this amount of material you're giving me, I can weave this quantum of cloth without using any tape and measure. Now, we also have a very wonderful symbol. We call them a Dinkra symbol. This has a history. In around 17th century, the people of my area, we call them my Ashantis. They fought another and then chief called Edinkra. So they brought this artifacts into my, region called Ashanti. And we have been using them in several designs, and they have some philosophical meaning too. Very wonderful. You can see, for example, this will be a line of asymmetry. So if you're teaching geometry, this can be used to teach reflections and those kind of stuff. And this is what we should be doing. I know the day, the learner going to school, what is school at all? What is schooling at all? What is education at all? Education is supposed to empower the learner, the person find him or herself. So after teaching the person geometry, theoretical concept, for example, if I'm into fashion, then what is the use of me spending time in school? So geometrical concepts, a Dinkra symbol displays symmetry, pattern used in geometry, cultural encoding of mathematical thinking. Symbol convey abstract ideas. So these symbols are philosophical. Some of them means man will die at all time. Some of the symbols mean, for example, the king is mightier than anybody. Some of the symbol may mean, let's say, the king never dies, even though he dies. Because when he dies, it is always replaced. So we assume that he never. So these are some of the philosophical meaning. And some of them also convey meaning like, what do you call it? Something like a proverb kind of, which may also have a literal meaning. And that will also be linking to mathematical thinking and so on and so forth. So pattern recognition and sequencing symbols are one of the major activities that can be seen around in some of these artifacts or local activity. So the Akan gold weights of Ghana are also a remarkable example of how mathematical thought is displayed. So in my culture, or in most of the Akan culture, they use gold. Ghana currently may be the second largest gold producer in the world. So most of the kingdom that we have in Ghana, they have a lot of gold artifacts. And so these gold artifacts are embedded with some symbols, which carry different meaning, which can be used to teach mathematical thinking, problem solving, and so on and so forth. So we're saying that many of these weights encode account proverbs and social values. So these gold weights come in both abstract and shapes and figurative design. So I'm going to show you later in the slides some of these shapes. So the account gold weights of Ghana are a remarkable example of how mathematical thought is deeply embedded in culture. Many of the weight encoded account proverbs are social, good weight come in. I think I've said this. So this is some of the gold weight. So you can see some of them. They convey some philosophical meaning. And this philosophical meaning can be linked with mathematical thinking. We want learners to become problem solvers, problem-based learning, problem solving. We can use this philosophical meaning to create problems for learners to experience. And when they're able to explain it, because they see this in the Chi Palace, in other sacred places, they are able to connect with the theoretical concept that we teach. And this is very, very important. So symbolic, logical reason, figurative design, communicate proverbs, and logical ideas. We are talking about mathematical logic. So if you use gold weights as a typical prior knowledge or as a medium of instruction to teach some of this concept, it is believed that learners are likely to understand. Cultural representation of mass is seen through trade, economy, and cultural artistry. I can say for a fact that Ghana is also a trading kind of a country. Almost everywhere people are doing trading, farming, that kind of. It's a developing country. So hand-on ethno-mathematical learning replicates, help students connect math to theoretical culture tools. For example, even the tools that are used in farming implement. Look at the shapes. Most of them are geometric in nature and so on and so forth. Are we able to connect what they do? Why, for example, X is fixed in a certain angle? Have we even asked ourselves? We have not done so. We're also looking at this. Folktale as a vehicle for connecting or for counting and problem solving. Folktale in Ghana, we use what we call Koku Anansi. And almost all folktale started with a certain thing called Koku Anansi. And we are talking about problem solving. We are talking about problem-based learning. If teachers are able to use folktales in our local dialect to teach learners, I am 100% sure when you translate into the so-called Western language to teach them problem solving, which is a word problem kind of, they are likely to do. Why are we saying so? Problems, riddle, folktale require critical thinking, logical reasoning in order to know the meaning. And therefore, it is likely to improve the reasoning skills that mirror mathematical problem solving processes. Now, story-based reasoning in early math learning. Learners from constructive theory, we all agree that learners construct their own what? Knowledge. You must go through a certain, developmental process in order to be able to do a certain activity. We agree. But no learner can learn something when there's no prior knowledge. And therefore, if these cases at the early stage in their community, storytelling based to teach them, by the time they get to where they are supposed to translate from even our local language to English, they are able to do it and do it well. There was a project system to use our local dialect to teach up to primary 3, and politicians didn't allow. For me, that would have been a game changer. Then also looking at traditional calendars reflect indigenous way of organizing time based in natural phenomena. For example, If you come to my country, people can predict when it's likely to be rainfall. People are able to use the traditional calendar to predict when they are supposed to plant their crops. People can use the traditional calendar to even to predict when there's likely a calamity, within the society. So we don't joke with it. We use different calendar, which is different from the white man's calendar. For example, in my local community, the Akan tradition, we use a calendar which depicts that 1 month is 40 days, not 30 days as specified by the white man. So this go a long way to tell you that we have a lot of things that we do using our own way of doing things. And unfortunately, colonization took over everything in Africa, and everybody in Africa tend to become like a white, which for me should not be the case. Now let's look at market. Local market activity involve arithmetic, addition and subtraction, weight, volume, estimation, showing mass in real life. And it will interest you to note in Ghana that the local people have been able to set their own standard measurement unit. For example, here we have what we call Olonka. And the Olonka, this has nothing to do with a standard measurement. The people use that to quantify a quantity of goods and sell as a traditional measurement. We are what we call mudu, basket, tin. All this reflects, the indigenous mathematical system and the measurement practice. So this is now a standard everywhere. Any part of Ghana, when you go, you can buy something in terms of Olonka, which is an indigenous way of, measuring a certain quantity of pricing goods in bulk versus retail. Sometimes you want to buy a bulky quantity of goods so that the price will be cheaper. I can say for a fact, these indigenous women who have never been to school, they intuitively use proportions and ratio to quantify how much is given to you if it will be sold one by one to you. And this is wonderful. And those of students who have been to normal school system cannot even sometimes think the way these indigenous people think. So sometimes I get alarmed when people say that somebody has not gone to school, so he doesn't know math. They know math. They even use math better than those who have gone to the traditional school system. Sometimes. Now, Indonesia is a home to over 17,000 islands and hundreds of ethnic groups, each with unique culture and practice language. Ethnomathematics help reflect this diverse in their mass curriculum. So from my reading, I came across that you have a lot of island, different culture settings as we have over here, but you are able to put all of them together in a certain fashionable manner. Ethnomathematics support the documentation and preservation of traditional practice, such as batik patterns, weaving techniques. And I also came across that you also have a certain way of weaving in your system, which is also very interesting, which I will show. Batik design are full of mathematical elements, which is like the traditional club that we do here. You will find symmetry, translation, reflection, rotation, tesselation. This can be used to explore geometric transformation and spatial reasoning, which is very important in Baho geometric thinking. Very, very, very important. So each batik pattern holds a cultural and information in Indonesia. So I found this wonderful from your country. And this mimics so many geometrical thinking and pattern formation and sequencing. And in Ghana, I don't know whether you learned from your country, you also have some kind of batik, but the designs are a bit different from yours, but you also have batik. I even have some dresses that are made of this design. So we're saying that the batik shows how math is used creatively in traditional craft. Making batik allows students to explore math through practical activity. For example, if you have a school where they do visual art, why not possible to collaborate with the visual arts teacher when they design patterns on their fabrics? You can use your mathematical thinking to help them design unique patterns that have never been even designed before. And that is the power of what? Ethnomathematics. So, batik connect classroom math to become easier to understand what we are talking about. Batik pattern features in geometry. Now, traditional counting systems are more than numerical tools. They are expression of cultural identity and indigenous knowledge, functioning as a Bahasa language. That is from your end, through which communities understand and communicate quantities. So in your country, they use Bahasa to communicate and to understand quantities. Many counting systems use RAM, songs, body part to help remember sequence. And this is typical in Ghana. You use RAM, songs to help young learners who are being ushered into concept in connection with math. Wayan, Colette, Puppet are intrinsically designed using symmetrical and geometrical pattern. This is what I also found from your end, including cycle, triangle, detail line work, highlighting concept of shapes, balance, and proportion. Artisans use measurement, scaling, and ratio in designing and carving purpose. In Ghana, we have a crop of communities where they use wood to carve shapes, artifact shapes, very unique. And a lot of foreign people normally will come here as tourists, they buy some of them. Very interesting. So I found this also from your country. We have others, but the shape, our shapes are not like this. Our shape depicts our culture in Ghana. I also find these wonderful shapes in your end, which is very interesting. And this may make a lot of geometric thinking. This could be like a line of symmetry. Very interesting. Look at these wonderful shapes. It looks like a certain wild animal. Very interesting. I found this in your culture. So paper making involves precise measurement and proportional design. So you're talking about measurements. We're talking about coordinating movement, music, involve counting and timing. Let's look at music. Music is something that I found very intellectual discourse. But in this part of people think that those who study music, they are people who have lower or middle IQ level. Now, if you have read Howard Gardner's Multiple of Intelligence, it can be inferred that music requires a lot of high thinking. High thinking. High thinking. You require a lot of thinking. Somebody who can just observe something and then compose a music. Puppets are designed with symmetrical and geometrical shapes. So I find this puppet from your country, which for me, when you're teaching geometry, the instructor, the educator, the teacher can leverage on some of these things to teach his concept. Also look at traditional farming communities often use lunar, solar, and seasonal cycle to determine planting and harvesting time, reflecting mathematical observation of time and what nature. So here we have two basically season, dry season and rainy season. So normally they use the lunar, which normally also used by Islamic communities, to depict where the moon will start, when going to end, in order to plant crops. And this is fantastic. Nobody taught them anything like this in school. And they're able to connect this because of mathematical observation. Farmers count days between planting and harvesting. They're able to count. I've planted maize. How many days will it require me to even to do my first weeding? How many days will it require for me, maybe if I have to put fertilizer on the crops, and so on and so forth? How many days will it require, to finish the planting, or for maybe even for the crops to, to okay. Now, market vendors and buyers regularly perform fast mental calculation, adding prices, giving. And it's interesting to note, these are something in a very small quantity. In Ghana, let me say even 2 cedis in our local currency. And then you give the woman the higher denomination, thinking that the person may not be able to give you changes. They're able to do it better than those of the student educational system, because they have experienced this moreover, and over. For example, if 2 or 3 days ago, somebody bought some, and then the person bought, let's say, 2 cedis, who was able to give the person 18 cedis. Then if another the same denomination, they are likely to remember and do as well. Recognizing informal knowledge in the classroom validates student identity and background, build confidence and what interest in math. It builds my confidence. It shows myself in what is being taught. Practices provide tangible example. For example, dividing food, measurement, proof. Sometimes children can be eating from the same bowl. When we are doing this, when they finish, they have to share the fish or the meat and what have you. Sharing is a form of what? Fraction. Giving fraction part of the whole to their siblings. We are learning fraction in this context. And it's very important they begin to do so. So we're saying that ethnomathematics allow social studies, science, art, language, creating more holistic learning, more or less a culture. Culture is a way of life. And therefore, it embraces every discipline that human being endeavor. Integration ethnomathematics thinking encourages critical thinking, problem solving, collaborative. It does, because remember, I've already talked about folk tale. Connected with math, all this thing leading to problem solving, critical thinking, which can be emphasized in the formal curriculum. So learning math through cultural context helps students to grab abstract concept. Remember, Professor Daines says that you cannot lay a block in empty space, it will fall apart. In other words, he emphasizes on prior knowledge So once learners have prior knowledge in the environment they live, they are likely to understand or grasp abstract concepts that we teach in class. Ethnomathematics and culture, different orientation, different thinking, different reflective, different orientation, everything. But they can use different way of solving. That bring about what? Innovation, creativity, critical thinking can be all found when you're using ethnomathematics. Teachers connect student everyday cultural knowledge with formal mathematical concepts, helping students to understand maths. To understand maths as part of their experience. Teachers adapt textbooks, lesson plan to include local context, traditional practices, community knowledge relevant to student background. This is very important. Textbooks have been written by official dom. Fine. But teachers should be given opportunity to adapt the textbooks, not adapt, so that they can contextualize the mathematics that they teach in the context of the environment, they find themselves. For me, it is very, very. Ethnomathematics question the dominance of Western mathematical tradition, validate diverse culture, contribution, promote equity in education. Or ethnomathematics is going to ensure what we call social justice. There will be equity. We question the Western tradition, the Western thinking of mathematics, so that the local certain concept of math can be put together and reflect what happened in our society, which can help us improve. We are talking about STEM. And where would the STEM go? If you have a STEM education, is the STEM going to develop a Western country? Is it going to develop our country? If we are going to develop our own country, then our cultural perspective must be incorporated in the STEM that we create. Students learn to question how mathematics is used in society, who benefits, and who excluded, and explore math's role in social justice, social structure, and justice. Students sometimes ask us, the maths we are teaching us, where will I use it? Who is going to benefit it? We are teaching hardcore concepts that sometimes you have to memorize. I call it mechanical aspect of math, but it does not have any relevant implication in where they live, how they live, and what they want to be as human beings. So both Ghana and Indonesia are culturally diverse nations with deep-rooted traditions in craft, Texas, street, community-based learning, offering rich sources of ethno-mathematical knowledge system used in trade, farming, rituals, which demonstrate alternative-based system. In other words, they are this system that we count our days and months. Totally different from the white man's one. Those have been used over 200 years. We are still using that here. Research in ethnomathematics challenges tradition. Eurocentric definition of math by exploring how different culture conceptualize numbers, space, pattern, and logic. So research are trying to unveil how the Eurocentric look like the of mathematical concepts. The Americans, new math came into Africa, which destroy our tradition, the math that we're using. So now ethnomathematics orient us to rewrite our mathematical thinking, mathematical research, exploring how we see numbers, how we see space, how we see pattern, how logically we do things in context of math. So mathematics research contribute to the creation of innovative teaching material that integrate local culture, knowledge system into formal curriculum. That's very important in the sense that in your country, you don't have that problem. But here, everything is centralized. Everything is official. Everything, no matter the location of the school and the learners and the teachers, they must go by the official system, which for me is problematic. Because in the rural communities, most of the schools here are not developed infrastructure-wise and even human resources. And therefore, you want such a person to learn same rate as in the capital city or the big cities. That becomes problematic, and therefore, they may understand what they teach when they have been taught using their own local language, which is not allowed at the moment. So ethnomathematics equips future teachers to recognize and respect the cultural background of their students, allowing them to create more inclusive and responsive classroom. So in the colleges of education where we train teachers, ethnomathematics is being incorporated in the curriculum so that whenever they find a SEM to teach, they will be able to embrace that the cultural orientation of the learner, very important, is supreme. And therefore, they must align what they teach for them to understand based on their environment they find themselves. Then, training teachers to integrate indigenous mathematical knowledge, pattern, measurement, counting, affirming student life experience, and foster cultural pride in every community that the teacher or the school is located is highly welcome. And that will help learners to think deeper in the environment and can understand complex mathematical concepts that we teach. So at the end of the talk, what are the key takeaways that I've talked about? I've talked about mathematics as a culture and contextualized. So the way the Western people, American, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, what have you, United Kingdom, the way they see math should be different from the way I should also see math. Ethnomathematics validate identity. Ethnomathematics ensures that my identity that the creator gave me can be linked with math. Build bridges across culture. In other words, it's a lineage culture across different. For example, I show some design here, batik, which I found from your country. You also have it here. So there may be some few culture orientation that you may even share in common. Encourages inclusive curriculum. Every culture is embraced in ethnomath. And every culture should be encouraged to reorient the official curriculum in the context of the culture they find themselves. Also promote lifelong learning, because in ethnomath, you stop learning the day you die, because anything that you find new in your environment, which has some connectivity of a certain mathematical, should be documented and learned. So I said this. When you teach mathematics from culture, you teach identity and confidence. Mathematics is not just a numbers and formulas. It is a living language rooted in the daily lives, traditions, and wisdom of people across the world. So we can see that the kind of math that we teach in school, it is not the math people live their life with. And that's why I brought this quote. Therefore, we should endeavor to teach math and make sure learners' cultural orientation are realized. By embracing ethnomathematics, we honor the culture richness behind mathematics thinking and create space for learners to see themselves in this subject. So I end by saying terima kasih, thank you. That's in my language. Questions, then let's discuss if you want contribution. Thank you.
Baik, thank you very much, Prof. Bonya. What an amazing lecture. Okay, maybe let's proceed to our thank you, Prof. Bonya. It is very inspiring, very enriching session. And then let's proceed to our second session with Professor Dr. Agustan Samsudin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm still here, ma'am.
Okay.
So
Okay.
can I leave?
Professor Yes. Yes. Yes, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very
Okay,
much,
thank you.
Prof.
Thank you very
We go
much,
to the second
Prof.
session.
Bonya.
We go to the second
Hello?
session with Prof. Agustan.
Okay, 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 thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Professor Dr. Agustan Samsudin, MPD. He is Professor of Mathematics Education at Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar, and he will present the topic STEAM as a learning innovation to train students' high-order thinking skills. Maybe before we begin, I will read a short introduction about Prof. Agustan. He is born in Ujung Pandang. He is a professor at Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar, specializing in mathematics education. He earned his doctorate from Universitas Negeri Surabaya in 2017 and teach various courses at undergraduate and postgraduate level, including calculus, statistics, research methodology. His research experience cover innovative learning models and mathematical literacy, funded by DRPM, Kemenristek Dikti, and BRIN. Prof. Agustan has many publications in Scopus Index International Journal and also in nationally accreditation journal. He is actively involved in professional development. He has participated in national and international workshops. He is a reviewer and assessor for multiple educational bodies, including LAMDIC and BAN PT. From Agustan is also an active member of professional associations such as Teaching and Education Research Association. Okay. Prof. Agustan, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, silahkan Prof, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you. Excuse me, I will share my PPT. Could you see my PowerPoint?
Not yet, Prof. Still
Yes,
okay.
clear, clear.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much. First of all, I would just like to say my respect to my moderator, the best moderator in University Muhammadiyah Makassar, Miss Irna, Mrs. Irna, and
What about your rector?
thank you, Bapak Rektor, waiting for me. The first, thank you so much for Bapak Rektor Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar, which who give us opportunity to do this international guest lecture, where this this event collaboration between Kemti Apia Menka University Ghana and Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar. Thank you so much Bapak Rektor, sehat selalu di tempat bertugas di sana sekarang. And for the best partner LPBKUI International Office Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar, Dr. Maharida, who give us to make this program. We really do hope that this program will successful in the last session. And all of the participants, thank you so much for following this program. In Palu, Cianjur, thank you so much. Banten also, and all of my friends and my colleague in lecture or teacher, thank you so much. I will present with my title STEM as a learning innovation to train students higher order thinking skill. In development of knowledge, actually, this is sequence of learning experience informing us where in hands-on and minds activity will become the first one to make us build our mind, and the second our dialogue and thinking ways, so that we based on our knowledge, it will make us to improve our thinking ways. Hopefully after this program, we really do hope that we can able to transform STEM learning, where the learning in Indonesia still make a part and separately between science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. So that in the second, I really do hope that stabilizing teacher learning leadership in school. And the third is forming a learning community for educator leadership. The next one is related how STEM education is introduced and practiced in Indonesia. 45.2 million Indonesian students as Asian countries has following STEM teacher training 20 and 21. Large-scale introduction of STEM learning from various stakeholders, from teacher trainers, university center, and education council. It's one way to introduce STEM learning in Indonesia. Example carried out by the National Science Teacher Center in 20 and 21, at least 70 district or city following this program, 990 science teacher, 235 projects following this STEM teacher training. Similar activity are carried out by the Math Science Teacher Center and several STEM center in university. Also in Makassar, we still form this association about STEM. Actually, we really do hope that in Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar get the opportunity to this STEM association in our campus. In the slide, the long-term campaign on the STEM approach is one of the inspiration for the curriculum. In the picture or figure, the Ministry of Education and Culture together with the SEMAO Center Indonesia as the main actor in this introduction activity have tried initiate the program and trying to foster the STEM awareness among teacher and the school leader. Where the first one is the launch of the STEM village. The STEM village is the pilot where the village is make a STEM approach in the real life in the daily. So Indonesian Minister of Education in 2018 initiates the launch of STEM village initiated by the Sekim Center. Uh, the second one is STEM camp for elementary and middle school students in 20 and 21, organized by Sekim Center also. Different is for STEM camp is especially for elementary and middle school. In the STEM village, there are high school involved this STEM village program. For some internal STEM training for PAUD teachers also and elementary school teacher also by Sekim Center, and there are two award for improve STEM approach can improve in the Indonesian. The Ministry Education, Culture, Research and Technology itself has commit to combining for the STEM approach, especially through the Ki Hajar STEM and Pembatik initiative. The learning outcome of each subject focus on scientific reasoning and attitude, not on the breadth of knowledge content. Why? Because in the curriculum and learning center, the knowledge about learning outcome, especially in mathematics, the first one is mathematical understanding and procedural proficiency. It means that the mathematical relate fact, concept, principle, operation, and the relation with mathematics try to apply in the to solve the problem in the to improve our skill related to our procedural when we solve the problem. The next one is mathematical reasoning and proof. How the student use their reasoning to make a statement and make a generalization and proof when they get the problem with need a proof to solve the problem. The third one is mathematical problem solving. Mathematical problem solving is the ability of our student to make mathematical modeling, right? Solve the problem. It needs a problem solving skill. So by using mathematical modeling mathematics, the student will try to find the good answer, the right answer, avoiding mistake when solve the problem. Mathematical communication and representation is also urgent to get the about the learning outcome for our student. Why? Because mathematical connection is our student try to make the relation one concept and another, also the principle and the relation between the what you call a concept to solve the problem by related to our daily life. And the last one is mathematical disposition. It's how about our student to use the curiosity, try to improve the self-confidence when they solve the problem. So there are 6 skills must be for student in mathematical, special to improve in STEM also. interdisciplinary STEM approach and collaborative project-based learning are still the main feature in our curriculum. Adopting the Merdeka curriculum, we call is in curriculum Merdeka in our country. But also now we here together the curriculum Merdeka, it will be changed by deep curriculum deeply. Where in Merdeka curriculum, school must allocate 20% to 30% of learning hours for Pancasila student profile project as a means to build character education. And currently, there are more than 150,000 schools that have adopted the curriculum Merdeka, which means that 20%, 30% the school population has been involved in various form of PBL, project-based learning. For the team, PGBL team for early child education, for example, I love the earth, I love Indonesia, play and collaborate, my imagination. PGBL teams for elementary to high school, sustainable lifestyle, local wisdom, it related to the first session. Prof. Bonya explained about ethnomathematics. It can be collaborate in local wisdom. For example, in Makassar, there are batik Sulawesi. It can make make connection between ethnomathematics and suku traditional in Sulawesi Selatan, South Sulawesi. Develop your body, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, voice of democracy, and engineering and technology, and the last is entrepreneurship. This is the illustration of project-based learning activity for curriculum Merdeka curriculum, where the figure 1 is the student making organic fertilizer. So the fertilizer, it can make our plant to grow good growth. And the second one is urban farming. Urban farming, like a farmer make in the city, like. And the third is special school for special need, revitalizing local tradition. And the fourth is recycling waste into creative economic commodities. And last is introducing entrepreneur character through processing and marketing local culinary product based on tuna fish. The five illustration how to STEM can apply or implement in our village. This is also facilitate the development of learning community and activity. Where the first one is exhibition of work, where students' work will be make a fair to show up their work. And the second one is alternative energy, for example, so-called solar care challenges. To it can be used when you can use electricity in our home. The communities STEM school also in Indonesia make a seminar also, and this is one of the origin about the STEM learning and community development of the Pancasila student profile strengthness project through STEM, and Ki Hajar STEM as a project to strengthen the project through STEM. The key issue in both theory and practice when we introducing and apply STEM education in school The first one is content integration, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The second one is pedagogical practice, and the last is disposition of STEM. The first is content integration, how to making increasing level of integration from the disciplinary, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. Disciplinary means the student learns concept and skill separately in each discipline. It's different for multidiscipline. Student learn concept and
Makanya sabuk may kunci na yawa. Ada na pakai. Orang biasa biasa.
but in reference with common theme. How about interdisciplinary? Student learn concept and skill from 2 or more discipline that are tightly linked so as to deepen knowledge and skill. This is the last transdisciplinary by undertaking reward problem or project where students apply knowledge and skill from 2 or more discipline, so that it can become foundational knowledge, meta knowledge, and humanity knowledge. Where the foundational knowledge, it can say the problem centric, where the problem we can make and look for level connection between science and technology, engineering and mathematics. We try to identify the problem, understanding the problem, formulate the solution, implement solution, and review the solution to get the right answer, and try to avoid mistake solution. The last one is new problem. How about meta-knowledge? Meta-knowledge solution-centric also, exciting the specific solution based on the context of problem. So we still also look for the connection between science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but there are many solutions we can make to to solve the problem where we face in our life. The solution 1, 2, and etc. So we can combine the solution to look for the best solution for ourselves. What about humanistic knowledge, user-centric, where the user like us to make the connection between science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we try to specify specific context of use and specify requirement, propose design solution, and we try to evaluate our design. This is the centricities of STEM curriculum. Nah, so that this is the issue of integration of STEM education practice in Indonesia. STEM is the paradigm that create interdisciplinary learning and deliver outcome in science, art, mathematics, engineering, and technology. First introduced to STEM-based learning model, USAID. We guided from USAID. Students try to design balloon power car as a learning medium. They are making a bridge, unbreakable edge, water rocket, robot, and etc. So that research focus and STEM education, how to pedagogical training and improving student literacy, creativity, critical thinking, casual reasoning, and technical literacy, technological literacy, even disaster literacy. Also positive impacts of using PGBL, PBL, inquiry, IBL, etc. Model related to STEM. The answer, the question is, does STEM learning provide the much need K to high quality learning experience for student and teacher. This is two-way. We can call learning one and learning two. The learning one is challenges of finding STEM relationship, and learning two, the depth of STEM depend on teacher background. So the learning one, we try to find the core competition from curriculum, and the second one, revise science math with STEM problem. So we can make a STEM lesson. How about the learning second? We start from the new problem, excited solution user need, and we try to, by using STEM approach, to find the solution from the problem using activity STEM at school and try to adopt in students level. I think this the definition about learning one and learning two, but we can say that learning one is visible and learning two invisible. Which more is important? Of course, learning two, because learning without learning two just accumulation of a number of less useful information. Learning one is authentic. Learning two is authentic learning. So we try to apply by creating a STEM curriculum will likely be considered a STEM teacher's job. Curriculum improvisation by teacher based on student response. So the teacher will make a curriculum to make connection with STEM education and STEM learning based on student response, based on input, student input, and try to the need for teacher leadership in learning and support from colleague. So the teacher will make a STEM approach and apply STEM approach in their learning or lesson program, where the other teacher support this program, because it cannot be implemented well when other teacher in our school didn't support this program. It's so difficult also. The third issue is disposition. For the first time, silo teacher is it mean that teacher teach science and engineering, technology, and mathematics is separately. It's not one in STEM approach. So when science teacher just teach science, engineering just teach engineering, technology also just technology, and teacher mathematics teacher just teach mathematics. Now, in the STEM quartet instructional framework, the teacher try to making connection between science, engineering, technology, and mathematics in the relation. How but the teacher must try to look for the level connection, strong, moderate, and weak. So from the silo teacher become STEM teacher by leadership in STEM approach in the school. The recommendation from Indonesian STEM Activity Association we make a learning leadership community, where the program from Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar collaborate with Japan and Singapore in Artec, Wow Learning, and Kiddo Creative make international workshop on STEM coding learning. So it will become a pilot STEM approach in our learning, not a single STEM for STEM lesson, where previously this happened a lot in Indonesia. The second, a group of STEM teacher for STEM lesson, but still single lesson. just science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, but it's STEM leadership program in 20 and 21 and 20 and 24. The third one is a group of STEM teacher for STEM lesson with STEM classroom. So we will try to progress the learning leadership community. There are two learning method we can use and apply to implement a STEM approach. The first one is project-based learning and case-based learning. If PGBL product or works as a result of project design, CBL is solution in the form of works. I think this enough, Miss Irna, about my presentation, because in the session it just explain about PGBL and CBL, about how to implement it, about project-based learning and case-based learning. I think this enough for my presentation. Thank you so much, and thank you. I give my chance for Miss Irna. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof. Agustan. This is the very inspiring session from Prof. Agustan. Okay, langsung saja ya. We now open the floor for discussion and question. And if you have a question, please type in the chat box and maybe open your cam and raise your hand. But in the chat box, we already have some question. And it is for two speakers. I will begin to reading it. Okay. First question for Prof. Ebonya. Okay. I will read it. The first question: are there any particular risk when culture is used as a context or object in mathematics learning? If so, what is the right strategy to minimize this risk without eliminating its educational value? And the second question for Prof. Ebonya: what is your view on the importance of maintaining a balance between the formal mathematics approach and the integration of cultural value in the curriculum? Can both run in harmony without sacrificing conceptual depth or contextual relevance? Okay. Prof. Ebonya, are you staying with us? Oke, kita akan baca satu lagi. Ada pertanyaan to speaker 2. To speaker 2 to Prof. Agustan. Okay, there is two questions. Question number 1: is teachers focus too much on implementing STEAM-based project? There is a concern that students will experience a gap in mastery of conceptual and memorization material, which are still important components in the upcoming national exam. Okay, And the second question, the STEAM approach is expected to be able to bridge the gap in high-level thinking skill between students in the urban and underdeveloped area. However, how can this implementation be successful evenly given the significant difference in resource availability and access to education?
Okay.
Oke,
It interesting.
mungkin langsung dijawab
Question.
saja, Pak.
Okay, thank you so much for this time. Thank you, Fahmi, for your question. I think if the teacher focus too much material to implement about the STEM approach, the teacher must try to slowly, one step step by step, try to make a connection between science, technology, mathematics, and engineering, because the STEM approach is one of the approach in Indonesian. It what is still need to improve the knowledge about STEM, so that to mastery the conceptual and memorization materials is, I think, you don't have to making your opinion and your mind that just try look for the definition, but also the implementation is the STEM approach is how to make or look for the case to look for the solution from the case by using STEM approach. We can make a case when you want to solve related to when visiting when you are visiting sometimes like a supermarket, you will give a problem your student about discount and etc. So by using the problem, it will make our student will try to the good answer related to mathematics and science and art. What about when low price and the quality is poor? It's it's good for your student. I think our student will look for the best solution to try when they box something for their body maybe. So it's depend on by our like a teacher to try to find some method to improve our performance when we teach our student. The second one is STEM approach. One about urban and the high level and lower level about city and village. I think it will make us try to polarize when make suggestion or decision. When we try to force the natural or what by using our school, it's depend on our school prepare or not. I think it's depend on how you find the best method to implement about STEM approach. So you just make a choice, use because you're maybe in a low level your school, so you don't have confidence to apply this STEM approach. I think you have to try, and you have a brave to out from you your son as long you can do it. So try to police about yourself, and try to choose the best method to apply or implement about STEM approach. I think it will give you a chance to make a solution to try apply a STEM approach. Thank you, Mrs. Irna. I think it's my answer for Fahmi. Thank you so much, Fahmi.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Agustan, for the answer. Okay, next. We see Mr. Amrudin raising the hand. Do you have any question to Prof. Agustan, maybe? Mr. Amiruddin.
Thank you, Fahmi.
Mr. Amiruddin. Oh,
They are not the same.
okay, we skip it, yeah.
What I'm saying is,
Is there any question from participant?
And chat
We check it.
comment
one is
Okay,
from Mr. Amiruddin.
same goes for the second one, but for the second one, we have one and then one within a set, which makes them not. Okay.
Mr. Amiruddin is here, ma'am.
Okay.
okay, Mr. Amiruddin. Mr. Amiruddin, do you have any question?
Yes, Mom.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Langsung saja Pak, bisa langsung ditanyakan ke maybe Prof. Agustan. Silahkan Pak.
Oh, yeah. For Professor Bonya, bisa ya, Bu? Professor
Oh,
Bonya.
yes.
Yeah.
Ya, silahkan.
How
Nanti kami catat,
to
Pak.
how to apply at the match in learning in junior high school? Professor Bonya. For Professor Agustan, how do we improve our student competence to able to solve maths in hot level?
Okay.
Okay, Prof.
Thank you, Bapak Amir,
Yeah.
about your question. There are many ways to improve our students'
Our students' competence. Yeah.
solve
To be able to solve maths in hot level. Yeah.
okay, to solve mathematical problem solving in
Yeah.
hot level. The
Yeah.
first one, maybe we can try our student by trying the exercise which related to not problem they find every day in their really life. So we can try to maybe look for the occasion, just the Olympiad mathematics. And second one, maybe you try to find the question for mathematics in higher level in maybe in internet by using mathematical problem solving in higher order thinking solve. There are many question there, and maybe you give a case about not easy to find the solution, to find the solution. So our students still need maybe much way, for example, analyzing, make a conclusion, and try to evaluate their answer. So when they try to reflect, make a reflection to look for the best solution from another solution, they will try to avoid mistake when they solve the problem. And maybe you can use many method approach in the learning. For example, problem-based learning, case study learning, and also you can find another method. I think this will help us when try to improve the students' competence when they want to solve the higher order thinking in solve the problem. Thank you so much, Mr. Amir.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you so
Prof.
much.
Yeah, okay, Prof. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is Prof. Ebonya is already joined with us? Hello, Prof. Ebonya. Oke, tampaknya Profesor Ebonya belum bersama kita. Tadi sempat keluar.
Struggle dengan jaringan.
Oke, jadi bagaimana, Bu?
Mungkin kita bisa closing, kita foto bersama aja dulu, Bu, dan mengumumkan bahwa sertifikat nanti dikirimkan via email masing-masing yang sudah dimasukkan melalui email. Silahkan, Ibu.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Okay. For
Terus kembali. Mau foto. Terus kembali.
ya,
Ulang tadi.
apa sudah bergabung?
Belum ada, Ibu.
Belum ada ya?
Belum, iya.
Oke, jadi jadi kita oke. Jadi terima kasih ladies and gentlemen. Mungkin sebelum menutup saya akan melakukan memberikan summary of this both speaker. And the first speaker from Professor Ebenezer Bonya, PhD, in the topic Ethnomathematics Bridging Cultural Knowledge. Oh, are you here, Prof?
Mr. Ebonya.
Iya. Diminta aja closing remark dulu, Ibu. Mungkin ada yang mau disampaikan sama beliau. Maybe there is a closing remark from Prof. Ebonya.
Ya, silahkan. Maybe there is closing remark from Professor Ebonya before we close official close, please.
Okay. So I'm here.
Yes. Okay, welcome, Prof. Silahkan. Maybe there is a closing remark from you. to all participants here.
Okay. Thank you, moderator. It is a great honor as a scholar or a researcher of international repute to have opportunity to share knowledge, collaborate with sister institutions, to create new level of knowledge, which for me would drive the future society. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Frederick Kwakusafo, University Registrar, the Head of Department of Mathematics Education, the Dean, and myself, who is the Director of International Program Research Institutional Advancement, for giving us this honor to represent the university, to give a talk on ethnomathematics. And I chose this topic because I know Indonesia uses their own local language in the entire curriculum architecture. And there are a lot of things that my department going forward will learn from Indonesia's perspective, so that we will be an ambassador for Ghana to drive home for the inclusion of ethnomathematics in the official language or official curriculum that we run in this country. I must say again that some of my department students, some of our PhD students, mass education, and the master students also joined. I thank all of you for making time to join because it's a bit early in the morning here. And I must also give thanks to the rector of the university, the faculty members, the deans, the head of department, and the students of your university for making this possible to have this wonderful engagement. And I hope it won't be the last. And I believe going forward, you have opportunity to to our university. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Ebonya. And maybe I will summary about this lecture, summary the topic from Professor Ebenezer Bonya, PhD, about ethnomathematics, bridging cultural knowledge and mathematics education. This is Prof. Bonya introduced the concept of ethnomathematics as a bridge between local culture, knowledge, and formal mathematics education. Demonstrate how cultural elements such as traditional weaving pattern, batik in Indonesia, then architectural form, contain mathematical principles that can be integrated into teaching. With through ethnomathematics, students not only learn mathematical concept, but also develop a deeper appreciation for their cultural heritage. Maybe this approach promotes inclusivity, local relevance, and meaningful contextual learning. And summary of speaker 2, Professor Dr. Agustan, SPD NPD, in the topic of STEM as a learning innovation to train students' high order thinking skill. This is Prof. Agustan highlight the importance of STEAM as innovative approach to education that foster higher order thinking skill among students. He emphasized that the interdisciplinary nature of STEM enhance creativity, analytical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. In the context of Indonesian education, this approach offers a more contextual, engaging, and relevant learning process to meet the demand of 21st century education. Thank you. Okay, next we have in the end session. Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially close today, we would like to take a photo session. We kindly ask you to open cam, please, to all participants. Oke, bisa dibantu Kakak Rijal.
Baik. First slide, 1, 2, smile. Next slide, 1, 2, smile. Okay, the last one, 1, 2, smile. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Kakak Rijal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you leave this session with fresh perspective and get inspiration of this lecture. For officially closing, allow me to conclude with a simple pantun. From Ghana, we learn cultural math. In Makassar, thank you. In Makassar, we find academic path. STEM and thank you. STEM and ethnomath show the way, uniting the world through what we say. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Indawati. I sincerely apologize for any shortcomings. Mohon maaf atas segala salah-salah kata. See you all at our next international gathering. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.